My name is Vince McIntyre, 67 years old. I was born in the west of Ireland. I come here in 1979, October 1979. It was meant to be a camp, a base camp. It was my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, was a mountaineer, and she wanted to go in the mountains in the winter. This was up in the snow, and it was also a free place to be. Yeah. Well, my farm is spread out in the community of Argenta. I have 4 plots of land in Argenta, and one field is 2 acres, and the other 3 fields have about approximately an acre each. I rotate, do a lot of crop rotation. So I usually use about half of each field each year, and I will plant the other half in a cover crop, and usually some legume and grain like oats and field peas, for instance. And that's to plow in for the following year. And then I grow mostly winter vegetables for storage, like potatoes and carrots and cabbage and beets and so on, parsnips, and quite a lot of garlic and some onions. And my crops are simple. I grow a little bit of squash and beans too. A lot of kale. And then I have a bigger farm that I got recently in last, I think it's 3 years ago I started there. And that's a large farm, and it changed the way I farm quite a bit. Size of my cattle herd has increased, so it's not affordable for me to buy hay, so I have to make all my own hay, and the land it's quite a lot of grass and feed, so I had to learn and find hay and machinery, and on that farm I grow my potato crop. My first year of farming was quite a difficult year. It was I got a new piece of land. This old lady down on the flats, I went and talked to her, and she told me I could use her field. It was probably about 5 or 6 acres, and she wanted me to cut the hay on it, and then I wanted to grow potatoes out there. My horses were pretty much not very well trained for farming. They were, I had them kind of harness broken and all that. And then I had to find, some implements and a mowing machine to cut the hay. And I wanted to do it with the horses. I planted the potatoes out there, about a half an acre of potatoes. And then it got really dry. It went up to about 35 degrees on around this time of year, around the solstice, and my field was just drying up. So somebody told me that there used to be an irrigation ditch down through the woods and out into this field one time. Went and worked in the mosquitoes and opened up the ditch and dug up her driveway and put a culvert under there to let the ditch flow through. And then I plowed out a furrow out to the potato field, and then ran the water down between the rows. And that took a lot of effort. And I didn't know if it was going to work or not, but it did. I was fortunate. There was an old man that he helped me a lot, because he had grown up, and his childhood was around this sort of machinery and haying and all that, and he helped me set up the mower, and he showed us how to put up haystacks by hand so that they would shed water or make on tripods. And then that's how we put up our hay, to dry, and then we had to haul it up here. So I built a rack for my pickup truck that was huge, and I had the trailer behind it. It looked like a big caterpillar going along the road, you know, with loose hay, but it was all tied down. But I learned all that when I realized when I was a kid how to do this sort of stuff. So it come back to me how to build a load and tie it on and on loose hay. And that summer I can remember being so tired because I put out so much effort just to make it work. So that was the first year, and we didn't make very much money. We're wondering how we're going to get through the winter. And we managed somehow. And I didn't really want to go out to work because I knew it would make it easier, but if I knew if I did that, maybe I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't really do what I wanted to do. Working from the heart and working with a sense of freedom is, you gotta have the balance, eh? You have to have the discipline to get up in the morning. You have to be courageous and you have to put up with discomfort and all this stuff. And then you have to see what you're doing as being fairly important, eh? Maybe a part of your survival, and then you can do what I do. When people that come want to learn something of me, I just come and watch me. I'll show you how I do it. And that's where I start with people. That I demand that people be observant. You know, to actually explain stuff to people. I have a hard time with that, and that's not the way I like to do it. I don't want to come there. Like if you're in the field and I'm doing things a certain way, I'll show you how I do it, and then I'll see how you get it. Yeah. But over the years, I've had a number of people that come work with me on some kind of usually informal. They come and some of them stay and some of them don't stay, and the ones that stay usually I have a number of young people out there farming today, and they learned a lot of their skills working with me and applied them. You know. Yeah. I left home because I didn't get along with my dad, and I got as far away as possible from family because of all the tragedies associated with my childhood. And I ended up going to South America for a year, and then when I come back, I went as far north as I could go. That was to Dawson City, and there was something like I was getting away from. You know, that back then I never thought I'd ever settle down, that I'd always be a traveler. And when I come here, I kind of grew into the place, and my daughter was born here in the Kootenays, so that's probably the reason that it made it home for me. Yeah. It took me a long time to really feel at home here because of the sort of tenure I had, because I didn't want to get too attached to the place. I didn't know who was going to, how it was going to go. I never did. I still don't. You know. When I think of home, I think of the little thatched house I was born in the west of Ireland. I still think of it as that. But you know, I felt like a drifter, a traveler. It feels very permanent in the sense that it feels like home. This is most at home I feel any place since I left the place I was born. But I feel more comfortable now that at this age in my life that I'm not so concerned about the outcome, you know.